So, okay, like I've made this channel and I've said it before, but this is a channel for like black women. Right? I'm talking to you about the not some fabricated way that the experience has gone down. Because here's the thing, like sometimes like you there was one researcher that I talked to and he was talking about how he grew up on a farm. He's like an AI researcher now. He's really great. And he was talking about how he grew up on a farm and how he worked so hard to get to where he is and how basically he did everything right. And so the idea is like everything works out for him because he worked as hard as he did. And he grew up on a farm, so the fact that he's now like a really, really big AI researcher makes sense for him. I get it. Like he worked really hard. Here's the thing, there's a black tax. As in like you can do every single thing right, but because you're black, like things are going to go wrong. Mostly because I think society likes to see like, well, as long as we have second class citizens who are black people, right? So like, as long as we see what happens to the black people first so that we don't do it ourselves. It's kind of the same sort of idea in like South Africa, how like they have apartheid where they basically made an entire land and culture and civilization where white people are able to live in like these really nice developed houses and have all these really nice things, and everybody else has nothing. like so all of the black people in South Africa, they just live in complete squalor and poverty, and like it's like all the stereotypes about Africa, how it's like poor, how there's like no infrastructure. Now the thing about it is I think my mom, she just doesn't understand any of this. She tries to be like, oh well, no, I gave you all of these opportunities. That's true. Like, well, mom did everything right. Like, I have come from so much privilege, and that's not even like racial privilege, like actual privilege. In terms of like as much privilege as you could have as like an art school person, I've had all of it, and I can't describe the amount that it's translated to literally zero and nothing. And that's kind of sad. Like I said, this is the most awful thing for me in my life was being born black and female. The thing about being born black and male is that you realize like society, it might give you a very difficult hand, as though like it's probably not going to be very nice to you, and it's going to teach you that you have to like earn all the things that you have. But the thing about being a female, first of all, is like you have the vagina tax. Okay, like so that means that there are men, and so like depending on the way the society views you, like if you're viewed as like being pretty, maybe being like fertile, being young, being things like that, then society wants to make sure that you are treated in a certain way so that like you successfully like reproduce children, so that you know, just like the human race, it's mostly white. This is supposed to work out for mostly like white women. Like, I don't think that there was. This is kind of why. And I think I was writing about this. I didn't say it, but I'll just say it here. So the whole purpose of this is so that like with white women, and it just has to go back to slavery in America at least. Like for white women, like they want the really pretty ones to like form relationships with the really rich ones so that they can like go on into the future and like evolve the white human race. And that's great, like for in most of the states, and like 48 of them, or at least, like this has been happening. It's working out pretty well. Everyone is doing great. Like I said, this country is still like 65 or 75% white. This is and the other thing that's so strange about this, I'm not even trying to be funny. People assume that I'm like this anti-white racist. I'm not an anti-white racist. I simply realized that America was created for white women and white men to have really good lives, like the best lives that the developed world could offer. I'm not a white woman and never have been. So my entire life, especially, has been like, especially like when I grew up and how I grew up, because like money doesn't take away the racism part. Like it's always there like the plague. And people try to talk about it because like we're in this year 2023 and there's all these like equity things and we have some examples of black billionaires. And so we've got like 5 black billionaires. So now there's this assumption that like we all are doing great. Yeah, that's not really a thing at all. We like all are not doing great. Most of us are actually doing pretty poorly, and I don't know why people are pretending like it's all crazy, like it's all good. It isn't all good. It isn't all good. It's like pretty bad, and yeah, we should just be like a little bit serious about that. What else do I want to say about this? Yeah, I don't know. I think that like dude, I don't really know. I don't have much to say about this except for like the fact that I'm sorry. I was going back to how does this translate to black women? Well, during the times of slavery, the reason that black mothers, black women were making choices about life was because like they didn't want their children to be born into slavery. It would be better for your child to be dead than to be born into a slave. That's really how I feel about being born into America as like a black woman. Like it's better to abort your children than to have them have to live in this society. It's really bad. And I care about black women. I don't really care about black men at all. But I do care about black women. And my life has just been so awful all the years. And I've said this so many times. And I have a microphone, right? So I can like get on here and like say it to you. But Jesus, like, it's been pretty bad. Like, a lot of the things that I suffer with in terms of like panic attacks and like, I've experienced like so many microaggressions at such a high level that like I don't see the world the same way that like someone who had positive aspirations for being alive in America sees the world. All I have are negative experiences. Every single experience has been negative. Like if I gave an honest review about most of the things that I've done, it would be just so awful. And so I've tried hard not to put that awfulness out into the world, but now I see that I have to. Because if I don't do it, then other people will be under the false assumption that it wasn't awful. And it really was. The weird part about it though is like I've never heard, and maybe that's another thing that's so strange, like everyone just expects black women to like to just have awful experiences, to not say that the experiences are awful, and then to just like keep going. What? Like that's weird as fuck. Be serious, like that's weird as fuck. Like why would you, what? Like everyone can't, like someone, this is what I mean, like so many parts of my life I've like looked around to be like, oh well, someone must be having an experience there. And I'm not even talking about like, you know, the levels of good, right? Because like that's why I like to talk about like the public school experience versus like the private school experience, because you should be able to like use your money to sort of like pay for different tiers of an experience. That's like the whole point. The problem is, like, in my life, a lot of people have paid for a really good experience, and what they got was racism. What I got was racism. I'm not recommending racism to other Black women. Like, bypass the racism, honey. Go elsewhere. Like, there are other parts of the world. Um, there are other experiences that are not filled with trauma porn. Like, there's no way in hell I could recommend a trauma porn experience for you and honestly be like, you should do this. Like, abort mission, abandoned ship, okay? Like, I've literally given you guys videos where I'm like, don't go into these industries. Tech, medicine, nursing, anywhere else where it's like dominated by Karens. Like, never go there to those places. Just completely bypass that bullshit because, like, you will never be white and female. And it just doesn't make any sense to participate in the culture because there's an amount of letdown that's so brutal. This is why I made that beheading Barbie video, which I think some of you guys thought was a joke. But I had a real period where I had to realize that, like, unfortunately, because I just am pretty and I, like, am a Black adult, there's just little Black girls who are looking up to me. And I'm sorry, but I had to be an example of something else. Like, so I get to be Murder Barbie. Like, that's what I made up. That is my character. It's the Barbie of death. And I just created an entire social media presence around being the Barbie of death, where I unpack things like suicide, anger, death, abortion, killing, murder, injustice. That is because that's the hand that I was dealt. So I can only talk about my own personal experiences. And clearly no part of society has any ambition to make it better. So fuck them. Like, I'm not here. I wasn't built to be Rosa Parks or no shit. Like, at no point am I no strong Black woman. I'm pissed, okay? Like, I am the person who actually hates everyone, like, everyone. Every day I send my mother messages of like, why did she birth me? This is awful. I didn't ask to be here and endure this bullshit. I remember it had to be a few years ago now, I saw a video by Seren where she asked the same question. It was just like, God, like, you get to a space in Black female adulthood where you just realize, like, you are a man. In terms of like, in terms of like economics, like, you are a man, as in like every single thing that you get access to costs money. Like, you don't just, like, white women float through society and they get shit for free because women, white women, they get things because, like, being a woman, you should be able, like, in other societies, like, you can go watch like the African, like, YouTubers, the girls, like the one South African YouTuber that I found, like her, she just gets shit for being female and alive. Lots of like Ethiopian girls, like, too, they just, all of Africa basically, women they just have things for just being alive. Like, they were born and then, you know, hopefully their husbands like provide things for them. And that's how it goes. That has never been a thing for Black American women. That doesn't exist. And I feel like it just makes more sense. It is much more pragmatic to start the story there. Like, if you are going to like live in this country and not die, the story has to start there. You can't have some expectation that if you put on a dress and if you go to college or something that it will be different. That's something, you're not Beyonce, you're not Lori Harvey, you're not any of their children. Like, life and society will never ever see you that way. And I'm so sorry. If you are pretty, it's like a fucking curse. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, someone did you a disservice by birthing you here. It's like a Joker card. abort the mission. Like, please do yourself a favor. Like, don't birth anyone else to have to go through this experience. Like, if you see an experience and it's that bad, warn the others. Like, that's what I'm here to do. I'm just trying to warn you, okay? Like, someone thought that you should have to, like, live out, maybe in some part of society or something, Black people did something that was so awful, and now we're all just, like, paying the debt of, like, demonism or something. Maybe that's what the thing is. I feel like it has to be that. Like, that's probably what it is. Like, there's some, like, divine debt that must be paid. And now we're all just here. We're all here paying the debt of demonism that was put onto us, because I certainly did not ask to be birthed. And if I could do it all over, I would not be birthed. And I certainly would not birth anyone else. Like, the curse of birth. I know for Drake, he said life is a gift, and that's not true. Not if you're me. It is not a gift. What it is a tab. Like a credit card tab. Like you are running on fucking credit. And as soon as you max out your fucking credit, that's all you have. Like, you don't have anything else. And sometimes you even, like, have gifts or something that society deems as a gift, but all you have are, like, demons and murderers, thieves and mingles who are trying to steal it from you. Like, if I had some beauty at one point in my life, that shit is dead and gone. There ain't no beauty here. Like, goodness and like fucking kindness, there's none of that here either. I don't even know. Like, purity, are you fucking joking? Like, you're like a target for hate. Like, that's what I am. Like a fucking pinball target for hate to just come. And it's been coming since I was a small child. Every microaggression, macroaggression, all of it, right? So it's like, and there's no example. Other Black women don't even give a shit. They all want you to die too. It's just everyone. You look right, left, up, down, in the weeds, in the sky. Fucking end the madness. There's no one who is, like, grateful that you are alive. Like, you might find, like, if you're an Ethiopian woman, other Ethiopian women, some of them, not most of them, there's, like, a few who are just grateful that you didn't die yet. Or, like, somehow you didn't die after all the vileness and evilness that we've all experienced. And there's something in that woman's heart that goes out to you for simply not dying. And I feel like that's a level of dehumanization that you only get through. Like, you get to that level of dehumanization, honestly, by being born Black in America. And it's exhausting. Like, I feel for Black men. I feel for them. But I just know that they have no fucking idea what it's like to be me. That's the issue that I have. And that's why I don't have the capacity to advocate for Black males. I don't give a shit what their struggle is. The only thing I could do to help is not contribute to the problem. So, like, don't birth any more Black people. And I'm not trying to be funny about that. I'm being serious. Like, you want to, like, get to the root cause of the problem. Root cause analysis. Like, when something goes wrong, you want to understand all the way, like, exactly why it went wrong, get it from the root, hit it from the core, and eliminate the problem. Like, eliminate the problem. It's really important to do that. Which is why another reason I come on here and I make it very clear, like, no, like, I'm an African woman, a Black woman from Africa, like the continent of Africa. The root is that, like, I am Black from East Africa. That is me. This is not my land. This is not my home. This is not my identity is not seeped in being American. I was simply born here by the demonic curse of my lineage or something. Like, unfortunately, I have family members that were slaves. It is unfortunate. I really wish to whatever woman was on the slave ship and someone, because they forced black women to birth slave children. They didn't do it because they wanted to. If they had the abortion pill, they fucking would have taken the pill. Man, they would have taken the pill if they had the option. They didn't have the option. So now we have like these communication devices that we can use to like talk to each other and like share important messages. Here's the message. Like, stop. This is not a goal. Like, man, like, it's just, this isn't a goal. Yeah. Like, you should have a goal, but it shouldn't be this. Yeah. I just want the best for I want the best that black women can get for black women, and I know for a fact it isn't this. So I'm saying I want something better for you. I want something better for us all. I want something better for me. um, yeah, yeah. Hmm.